We are very excited about the training we have today and want to give a warm welcome to everyone who is joining us from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, Australia, and any other countries that you might be in. We're very excited about this topic that we have today because it's a very important one. You know, this is a topic that has definitely impacted all of us and everyone we know at some point in our lives. And for some of us, it's a very huge challenge that we have to overcome almost daily sometimes. And so I am very eager. I've had a sneak peek at this presentation, I'm lucky to be able to say. And I'm excited for the information that our product trainer is going to share. And today we'll be hearing from Claudia. I'd like to give a quick introduction to Claudia. She is our product trainer for Malaysia, Singapore, and Brunei. But something that I've really admired already about Claudia is that she does this business because she genuinely wants to help. That's what started her getting interested in nutrition and dietetics. And her first thing that she looked into, our job after she was a dietitian, was helping with an international school, where she was able to look at, you know, how they compose the meals to make things healthier for the kids. But after a time, what she realized is she wasn't able to help enough people this way. And so then she went and got a job at a hospital and was researching to find ways that she could improve the diet and improve the health of more people. She even presented at the Malaysian Dietitian Association. But she still felt limited by that. She was still frustrated. She's like, I want to reach more people. I want to help more people. And that's what brought her to us here at Unicity, where now she can truly impact hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people. And so on that note, I will be turning the time over to Claudia, where she can start to talk to us about how we can handle stress and anxiety in our lives and how Unicity's products can give us an extra biological advantage to be able to tackle these very common and painful issues. But thank you, Claudia, and we're excited to learn from you.
Okay, hi everyone. It's my pleasure to present today, and we finally get to meet again. I hope all of you are doing well in the midst of this pandemic. Okay, today I'm going to present this topic, which is handling stress and anxiety. First of all, this is a topic that is very close to my heart because I personally have experiences with anxiety. I have friends and family that I know who are deeply affected by it, and they also have health consequences as a result of it. And I think if you put it this way, right, life is all about handling stress and anxiety better. Okay, let's just say, because we cannot avoid challenges of life, right? You know, sometimes certain news you'll be hearing, right, from someone you care about. You may lose a loved one, you know, you may be going through a very rough patch of breakup and financial issues, and all of us have our own personal challenges. And if anything at all, our life is really about how we can go through, how we can endure, and how we can persist through all these kind of challenges that comes our way. So if anything at all, this is such an important topic, because if we cannot handle this well, we wouldn't be able to overcome life challenges, and as a result, they overcome us. So I'm going to talk more about this topic, and especially on the biological aspect, how food and nutrition can bring help to us. All right, let's put an example. Imagine something happened, right? Let's say you said something that you shouldn't, right? So once that scenario happens, when it concludes, you will go into this overthinking mode. And this is a time where you will rehearse a lot of the situations that happened before. You know, for example, oh, I wish I did not say this. I wish I could have said it in a better way. I wish I could have adjusted my tone. That's not what I mean, right? But it just came out that way. So you may be, rehearsing the past, or it could be the other way around, where you will be imagining future scenarios. Oh, if this happened again, I wish I could have said this. I wish I could have said that. I would have adjusted that. So you'll be imagining the future. So when this ruminating or overthinking process happens for a prolonged period of time, you'll find yourself to be in this state where you may have fear or a lot of anger, right? A lot of anger built in, a lot of conflict, and you feel very confused, and then you feel shame and remorse and guilt, and you just feel all kinds of negative emotions inside, right? Then it will start to brew. And then you find yourself back into scenario A again, where you imagine again, right? And then you feel angry again, and then it goes on and on and on and on. So this is a very common cycle, right? But most people find themselves in this cycle for a long period of time, and it becomes a vicious cycle. And this is what you call anxiety. Anxiety is this vicious cycle where it's very hard to come out of it. It's not as easy as snap out of it, right? We all want to snap out of it, but the problem is it's hard because this whole vicious cycle is very consuming. So once we are in this train of thought, all right, there are actually changes in our body. So according to some of these studies and the American Psychological Association, there are one group of people, they will experience poor appetite. Well, I have friends who can't eat at all. When she look at food, she feel like, to vomit. So there's like repulsive feelings towards food. And then they can have very drastic weight loss and a lot of muscle mass loss. And there's another spectrum of people where they have increased appetite. They just feel like to eat everything and anything, especially high carbohydrate food, right? There are a lot of studies that link to unhealthy eating habits and primarily towards high sugar foods. So this will lead to drastic weight gain. For a certain period of time, suddenly you see them different. And this will also lead to increased heart rate, all right, because you're always thinking and it's always in a very tense state. So naturally your heart rate will increase, likewise your blood pressure. And then you will also have poor sleeping habits, all right? And then you will feel like you can't sleep because your mind is very active, all right, at night. And naturally the next day, you will feel very lethargy, you have no energy at all, and you have lack of motivation. You just don't even feel like going to work or doing anything at all. And this is making people sick, all right? Stress, if anything at all, it is one of the root causes of almost all diseases, or it will prolong the healing process of any of these diseases. Okay, number one, heart disease is famous. We know of people, regardless of age, and nowadays younger and younger people suddenly die of heart attack. All right, there are a few young actors just in their mid-30s to early 40s who have died out of sudden heart attack. Okay, there's obesity, right? Stress definitely will increase obesity because you tend to overeat. Diabetes, this has a very direct link to sugar level, insulin, digestive issue. A lot of people usually when they have stress, they have what? Gastric, right? Heartburn, cannot digest, and so on and so forth, and weak immunity. All right, you always fall sick, you always have flu, have cough, and fever, and all this is driven by stress. Okay, it's not just something that, oh, I'm stressful, that's it, and it's such a huge underlying force that spurs a lot of disease condition. And you know what? Unfortunately, things are not getting better, right? Just this year, 2020, we are all excited, right? 2020 is like the entry of a new decade, but looks like we are being welcomed with a huge curveball, the COVID-19, right? And initially we thought that, okay, this might dissipate for 3 months, just give it 3 months, might go away. But looks like it's not ending anytime soon. And many people are saying it takes at least 1 year, which is this year, for things to maybe revert back to normal. And because of this, it's caused a lot of changes, not just social changes, but economic challenges. Many people are losing their jobs, and I personally know of people who are deeply affected by this, and I'm sure you've heard of news where people take their lives because they are just caught in this condition where they just do not know what to do about it. And mental health is anything at all, it's going to decline drastically in this year. All right, so let me explain to you how people cope, and I'm sure you all can relate with me. A lot of people, when they find themselves in a situation when they're very stressed, they will go to a lot of psychological sources, right? Including myself. Right? You read all kinds of books, you consume all kinds of inspirational quotes, people WhatsApp you, right? Oh, today you can do everything you can do, set your mind to do, you can do it. And you consume a lot of psychological books and materials, right? And we read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now there's even the 8th version of it already. So, the kind of things that we are reading and the positive messages that we have, no doubt all those things are good. But there's 3 things, right? There's the body, spirit, and the mind. So a lot of people pay a lot of attention into the spiritual and the mind aspect of it. They meditate, they pray, and all kind of things. But what if you come to a situation where you have tried everything? Come on, I have friends who have tried everything and they're like, it is not working. It's not like they do not want to come out from that situation, just that they can't. And one interesting thing I noticed is that many people, they put a lot of psychological effort, but they really throw, and anything when it comes to food, right, it's all automatically in the backseat. They don't pay attention to it at all. That's the least they care about. And a lot of my friends I noticed who are struggling with the depression or anxiety, usually they eat very, very poorly. When they're stressed, they will immediately reach for high calorie food, and it is almost as if you're entitled. You feel entitled to indulge, when you're stressed. Oh, today I'm so stressed, I have to indulge in a chocolate or bubble tea or whatever. So their diet is most of the time is just screwed up, and this looks like this, which is what most people are doing. So what I want to achieve here today is we want to balance the scale a little bit. We want to bring up the biological aspect so we can put it at the same level, at the same balance with psychological. No doubt, I still believe psychological and reading a lot of books and materials are great. They give us revelation and a fresh perspective towards the situation, and therapy and stuff like that is great. But we also have to elevate the biological aspect, which is very, very lacking, in a lot of people today. One more is MCO. So today we're going to talk about the importance of biological aspect and how Unicity can help us to achieve this. All right, some of the few issues with anxiety is, number 1, low confidence and no motivation. Sharing with my own personal experience, yes, you feel very intimidated. You feel the problem is very, very big. And oftentimes you just don't even want to face it because it just looks very daunting. And because of this, you will want to withdraw. You want to escape from reality. You try to procrastinate, right? Procrastinate, run away from it, try to avoid, don't want to face, always feel like there's some anxiety. This one, you always anticipate the worst case scenario. Well, as much as risk management, I think is good and everybody should have a certain degree of that, but dwelling too long in this is going to create a lot of pressure and a lot of fears. And sometimes it's autopilot, your mind will automatically be in this mode without you even noticing it. And you feel like you're always on the edge. You're always very tense, like always ready to pounce, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do. So how can we overcome this issue? So like what I mentioned, we have to elevate the biological aspect of us. So this can help us. So what is the biological advantage that Unicity can offer us? So we're going to tackle one very important organ in the body, which is the brain. So Unimate fuel and Unimate, both of these has personally saved me many times during bouts of anxiety. been experienced in the past. Okay, so both of these are quite similar in a way. Unimate feel it's just they just added the MCT oil, more for those who are interested to go for a low calorie diet and things like that. But both of these are still great. So before I know about Unimate, I go for a lot of coffee. All right, coffee is really my motivation because I personally had anxiety in the past. So without coffee, I just feel like I can't function. So whenever I take coffee, there always be jitters. Okay, I'm pretty sensitive to caffeine, so there always be jitters, and I feel nervous and increased heart rate. But for Unimate, it's very different. First time in my life, I did not feel any jitters at all, but it gives me the sense of energy. You feel energized, and it's a very subtle kind of refreshment in the brain, and you just feel good. And I used to be really nervous, when I drink it, and I associate nervousness with excitement. But actually, once you taste Unimate, it's an entirely different thing. It gives you excitement instead, right? It makes you excited. You feel like you're eager. It just makes you overall more positive. Rather than worsening with your physical symptoms, it just gives you the kind of excitement. And with coffee, usually you will feel high. Okay, this is one of the reasons why I go for coffee, because I want the high. Because you're always very low whenever you are anxious. So you drink it to give you the kind of rush of energy, right? Rush of adrenaline. Then you feel like, oh, okay. But the one thing that is really bad about coffee, once the effect runs out, you just crash with it. Well, immediately I feel very sleepy. Even though the day before I slept like 8 hours, okay? And once this effect wear off, it doesn't matter how many hours I slept, I still feel sleepy. And it's really counterproductive. You cannot do anything at all. Well, but for Unimate, it's great. Like, it just gives you a very gradual sense of energy increase. You don't feel like, there's no sudden surge, but somehow you just feel more energized, just like this morning. Every single time when I do a presentation, I need to take Unimate. And the great thing is that you can take, how many packets as you like. Like sometimes I'll take 2, if I feel like that day I will need more to get by. You can take 2 or 3 and they wouldn't have much effect at all. They wouldn't give you any jitters or any nervousness. You can drink it, if you want to feel renewed throughout the day. And the great thing is there's no crashes at all. So it will just come off, and if you feel like you want another one, you can just take another one. There's no harm. And this is another dangerous part about coffee, and it's very easy to get addicted, right? Because the withdrawal symptoms are pretty strong. Like for me, if I don't drink the second cup, I'll feel nervous again. Like no, I have to drink another cup again, right? And you feel very frustrated. It's almost like a drug, right? You feel like you're very dependent. It gives you a very unhealthy dependence towards coffee. So that's why people can easily drink 4 to 5 cups a day. And that's minimum. I have friends who drink up to 10 if they are like working throughout the day. So this is an awesome thing about Unimate, where I don't feel like I'm a slave to it, right? Like it's no addiction. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel you're in control of yourself, like you're being controlled by something. We don't like that kind of effect, right? So there's no addiction at all, and you feel free. You feel like you have the freedom of choice. You can make your own decision whether you want to drink Unimate or not like coffee. And this is a huge thing where coffee, most of the people I know will not drink coffee on its own, because coffee, first of all, is very bitter. All right, most of my friends and family, they will always add at least sugar or coffee. And if you go to a cafe, that's even worse, right? You'll be definitely go for mocha, macchiato. Not to mention our mama store, right? For those Malaysians and Singaporeans who understand, those stores that we have our late night drink, oh my gosh, that is the best, but also the worst. Easily packed up, high in sugar. 1 cup will be easily 300 to 400 calories. And that is like your actual meal, And the kind of sugar that's inside is more than your recommended intake for a day. The great thing is, Unimate is so low in calories. Just to let you know, 1 packet of Unimate is only 3 calories. 3 and 300. That is like 100 times more than whatever you're drinking outside, right? And Unimate feel is slightly higher due to the MCT oil is around 90. calories. So you look at that, 90 is still very low compared to whatever they're drinking outside. And the great thing is that none of our Unimate products have any added sugar. There's no sugar at all. So this is great and it's really, really awesome. So this is a drastic comparison that I have experienced taking Unimate myself. So Unimate fuel. So what makes it so good? You know, why is it so special compared to coffee? You might not believe me. You may think that I'm making this up. But it's not, all right? I looked through and I've done quite a number of studies on some of the active ingredients. So number one is chlorogenic acids. So this is one of the main components that you can find even in coffee or green tea that can give us a kind of mood booster. All right, so this is a study specifically for yerba mate, and it studies the mood changes of those who are in resting state and for those who are in exercise state. So for both states, there are also positive associations and there are good outcomes out of drinking yerba mate. So imagine that is just a study on normal yerba mate powder. But in Unimate, we have 375 times more chlorogenic acids than a standard yerba mate powder. All right. So this is huge due to our purification process. And then even compared with coffee, right? It has 60 times more than a cup of coffee and 100 times more compared to a cup of green tea. It's amazing, right? And then this is another one called theobromine. All right, this is a very important component that's responsible to not give us the jitter. And it gives us a sense of calmness and mood booster without giving us a crash. So what is the secret ingredient, I would say, is this. So theobromine, you cannot find it in coffee. It's almost 0 to none. And mostly a lot of studies are done on cocoa powder because dark chocolate is known for this compound, which is theobromine. The good news is you don't have to eat large amount of dark chocolate to enjoy this benefit. In just one packet of Unimate, you can have 3 times the amount of theobromine than dark chocolate. So, if anything at all, the science says it all. So with Unimate fuel, it helps me tremendously. And after knowing the science, I think it makes sense. It's no wonder I feel so different. Okay, after taking Unimate fuel, I feel very confident. It's not the forceful confidence, you get what I mean? Like people always say you need to fake it to make it, right? And you feel very pressured, have to be confident, right? But this is you just feel very secure in yourself, It's a very steady kind of confidence. And you're able to turn the fear into courage for some reason. Like you used to see that fear as something very intimidating, but now you see it as a challenge. Like, hey, I can do this. And then you start to see obstacles as opportunities. I used to be very afraid if I have to do presentation like this. But now I see it as an opportunity. Hey, I can use this to share. I can use this to impact lives and so forth. It's great. And this is also very important because when you're anxious, you are not in control of yourself. You always feel very anxious and very intimidated. So you just feel very calm and you're just full of control in yourself, and this is just the great benefits of Unimate. All right, moving to this topic, which is depression. Okay, for those who do not know, many people actually have a misconception towards this term, right? They think depression is simply just sadness. Right, I have friends who tell me, oh, I'm feeling sad. At MCO, I cannot go out. I'm depressed. Okay, the real clinical word of depression does not mean that, all right? Clinically, depression is actually very serious. And many people have a misunderstanding. They thought that people who are depressed is because they can't snap out of it. Oh, it's a personality. You're always very depressed. Why can't you snap out of it? It's not as simple as that, For those who have those who have prolonged anxiety issues will have depression. Okay, and it's debilitating. And it's very tormenting. It's consuming as well. Like they're just in a state of impending doom. It's just, I have friends who tell me that the kind of sadness that they feel is just many, many times more than what a normal person feels like. This is because for those who are in a depressed state, their pain receptors are activated. So they are more sensitive to pain, and sometimes for no reason, you know, they just feel pain. Like heartache, they just feel pain, you know. That's why they feel it's such a torture. So for depression, because especially for those who struggle for many years, they will come to a point that that they just lose the will to live because there's just no escape for them. They're just like us normal people. They also want to find a way to cope and to come out of it. But for depression, they no longer have this option. So they will turn to lose their life and just to escape life, you know. So omega-3 and omega-3 Resolv. Why did I put it here? Okay, I have this very interesting fact to share with you. Do you know the brain is mostly made out of fat? 60% by dry weight, you know. So that means our fish oil has a lot, okay, to do with the brain. And I want to explain about two types of different fats. Okay, they are called essential fatty acids for a reason, because they cannot be produced by the body. So we have to consume it through food or supplements. So basically there are two types. They are omega-3 and 6. 3 is anti-inflammatory and 6 is pro-inflammatory. So both of them have their function in the body. Okay, just because it's pro-inflammatory doesn't mean that we cannot take. They have to be in the right balance in our body. So based on clinical studies, the ratio is 1:1 to 4:1. All right, it used to be 2:1, but I think scientists have adjusted this figure over the years because just to fit into the industrialized lifestyle today. And this is already adjusted, right? Can you guess what is the average consumption? All right, it is 20:1. All right, it means there's too much of omega-6. By the way, this is omega-6, right? And this is omega-3. There's way too much omega-6 in the diet, and the ratio is off the balance. And this is just average. I read one study that they say it can be up to 40 times or 50 times higher. So that's just a lot. All right. And depression, linking that in, has to do with a lot of inflammation. I'm pretty sure we have known, and for those who have been following us for some time, you know inflammation is a cause of a lot of our non-communicable disease, such as diabetes and so on. But do you know that inflammation can also happen in the brain, right? A lot of inflammation can happen in the brain, and this can bring a lot of harmful effects without you knowing. And there are studies that show, they compare a depressed brain and a normal brain. They find that they have a lot more inflammation. And an inflamed brain is a depressed brain. And this naturally will lead to decline cognitive activity. Like their brain activity will naturally decline, and will become smaller and will shrink. And also very prone to memory loss and concentration, will rob them of this opportunity. Even for people who have anxiety will also have this problem. You know, you find yourself always fumbling around. You don't know where you put your things, like your key, and where's my key? You get very anxious. So this is also very, very common. And lastly, individuals who have depression or even anxiety can lack the experience to experience pleasure. They don't even know what pleasure feels like anymore. So I'm very amazed to find this study really, and I think it's going to be very helpful to all of you. Studies suggest that omega-3 can improve depressive condition. And this is for people who have depression condition, So if those who have anxiety, imagine the kind of effect that can help them. And for research dosage, I find several studies to compare. It's around 1,000 to 200 milligram of EPA. This is the particular component that they study. So it seems that there's a lot of growing evidence saying that omega-3 may help, all right, depressive symptoms. So what is the dosage? Okay, so omega-3 one serving has 800 milligram of EPA. Based on the supplementary facts, one serving is 4 capsules. So if you want to go to 1,000, maybe you can add another 2 capsules per day. And if it's omega-3 Resolv, because it's higher, it's 1,000. So basically one serving can already help you to achieve the baseline of EPA required. for just mental health. And even if you do take excess, those fish oil can also help us to resolve any other inflammatory problems that happen throughout our body. Like, for example, joint issues is one of those things. Even dry eyes, yes, you feel like very dry and dry lips and things like that. It can help to lubricate a lot of systems in our body. So, all right, just now we have talked at length biologically about the brain. So there's another component that's also very significant to mental health. It's the gut, right? Okay, serotonin is a very important hormone. Okay, and I can tell you, all the antidepressant drug is all about increasing serotonin levels. All right, most of the time, people will take it, just to restore back. So serotonin, why is it so important? Because it helps and is responsible for emotional stability, right? It's not just only giving you good mood, it helps to stabilize your emotions. Because most of the time I find people, and myself even, is that you can get high very easily, then you get low. So it gets to, really just balance off the kind of emotions that you can feel balanced throughout the day. So for individuals who have anxiety for a prolonged period of time, their serotonin level will decrease. And I'm not just saying anxiety for like 2 or 3 years ago, because many people have this kind of unhealthy coping patterns, like I mentioned just now with the kind of graph. So if individuals have that kind of thinking since young, it can start all the way from childhood, From childhood, if you bring up to adulthood, it's many, many years of anxiety. So with that kind of practice, many people are not aware that their serotonin level have decreased. Not to mention our lifestyle habits, and all these things will bring a lot of changes to our brain serotonin levels, especially with the food, the pollution, so on and so forth. So sometimes you don't even know, like, before when I have anxiety, I also cannot explain why suddenly I feel very emo for no reason, like very sad and just anxious, even though my surrounding and my situation is completely fine. Like I have no reason externally to worry about something, but suddenly I just feel very, very restless and a lot of jitters, So then, and it's because, after visiting a doctor, they say, oh yeah, because your serotonin level have decreased, and this happened throughout your lifetime. So many people may have this symptom without knowing the root cause. So this is another very, very interesting finding I found, that 95% of serotonin that is responsible for our mood is produced in the small intestine. I always thought that this is in the brain, since it's always depression, anxiety is always about the mind, but it looks like it has to do a lot with the gut, right? It's 95%, and it's confirmed by this study with the exact percentage. It means that it has a very big effect, all right, and our gut has the ability to really communicate with our brain cells, and the nerve endings that surrounds our gut is tremendous. And it's no wonder it has such a huge impact, to our mental health. So another issue with anxiety I want to point out is that you always find yourself very irritable, right? You feel very easy, People just say something, or 1 or 2 words, just, you cannot help it, but you feel like very irritated, And then another thing is you have mood swings. One time you can feel out of this world, you can feel like you can do anything. Then one small stimulant come in your way, you just, that's it. Then you feel like you're depressed again. Then come down again, irritable. This has a lot to do with serotonin levels. So number 2 is digestive issue. So it's also very common for those who have a lot of gas after eating. They just don't feel comfortable, and as a result, they don't want to eat at all. And gastric heartburn, I have personally experienced this as well, right? Very just gets irritated very easily, and some even have gastric reflux. They will want to burp a lot. Excessive gas, flatulence, and this is very uncomfortable, right? It just feels very bloated all the time, and it's just not cool to have these symptoms. And you can either have diarrhea, where your intestine will be irritated, it will overstimulate, or you have constipation issues, means you cannot go to the toilet at all, means your gut is not moving at all. So serotonin has a lot to do with all this regulation, because it helps to stimulate the movement of these things in our body. All right. Okay, so we have Bio7. Bio7 is great because it helps us to increase our good bacteria in the body and the diversity as well, tremendously. Okay, I'm not going to go too much in detail, but this is the clinical results that we have. All right, just one packet of Bio7, you take twice a day. For only 12 weeks, you can see a very drastic difference between before and after. So before, there's a lot of bad bacteria in the gut. And after eating it, you can experience a 58 times increase of good bacteria in the body. Right, this effect is tremendous, and it has a lot to do with our ingredients. All right, it has this ability to affect at the genetic level of those good bacteria. So not just only the good bacteria will multiply, they will also evolve into another good species. So that's the reason it can affect our gut until 58 times. So far I've not seen anything quite like Bio7 that can give us this kind of effect because of the premium ingredients that we have in. Right, but for myself, I think taking Bio7 is not enough for me because I think 95% of serotonin is a lot, all right, for our body. So I add in a lot more. So there's Probionic and Probionic Plus. These are direct addition of good bacteria, and our body has 100 trillion, all right, of bacteria. So we have to increase this as much as we can. So every morning I'll take one sachet of Probionic, and I'll mix Bio7 with Lifiber. So Lifiber is also great. It's very different from Bio7, but it covers the other spectrum of fiber. It has psyllium husk, and so on and so forth. That is very helpful for the mucous lining of our gut. And all these together will help to give us an added serotonin boost every day. So I'll take this Lifiber morning and night together with Bio7. So this is, okay, I'm going to the conclusion. After trying all these products for myself, first of all, I have noticed an increased self-esteem for me in a healthy way, right? And I don't feel like I have to force myself to be confident anymore. And I can naturally be more positive. I can have a shift of perspective in my mind. I can think differently. And this is also very important. I feel like I have control of my life. I'm no longer the situation does not control me anymore. I feel like I'm in control of myself and I can do it. And I feel excited, like presenting to you today, looking forward to it. I'm excited. And most importantly, my body just feels great, feels good. When your body feels good, it's a great feeling. All right. So I hope today's presentation has been helpful to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. That was fascinating. And there are several things I would like to say about that, which hopefully I get a chance before we're done. But before I say anything, we want to give time for some questions. We have about 5 or 7 minutes that people can send questions in our group chat. And Claudia will go through the questions as they come into the chat and start to answer as many as she can in this time we have. And once again, if we don't get to your question, we are also recording these chats, and so we'll be able to look up the answers. And if you'll reach out to Claudia or Winda or other product trainers, McKenna, they will be able to get you those answers. But I'll turn the time back to Claudia so that she can start looking through some of these questions that come in and give us some extra help.
Okay, so I have one question. There are some studies that show chlorogenic acid may cause increase in homocysteine. Can you please comment? What is the maximum dose of Unimate one can take? Okay, about the first one about homocysteine, I think this one I have to do my own research first. Okay, let me check, and I also have to discuss with Michael Saunders and see what would be his comment on this. Maximum dose on Unimate, I've heard of people who take up to 3 a day, and that's fine. All right. I don't really think there is a lot of concern in terms of if you overdosage with Unimate, all right, because of the benefit of chlorogenic acid and things like that. So I think if maximum, I would put it maybe 3 a day. And it also have a lot to do with your tolerance level. Not everyone can tolerate high amounts of the kind of active ingredient. So it really depends. I think 2 up to 3 is not an issue. Okay.
Yeah, and sorry, Polly, I just wanted to make a
Yeah.
comment. Some of you might have seen that Zach Bitter, he's an ultra marathon runner and broke the world record this week for the fastest 100 miles on a treadmill. And he actually took 1 sachet of Unimate every hour after the 5th hour. So that adds up to 7 sachets that he took in 7 hours. And I didn't do him any damage. Instead, it helped him set a world record. Right? He was running 100 miles at a 4:30 kilometer pace. Right? 4 minutes and 30 seconds per kilometer. That's so fast. And so Unimate really is special in the fact that if you need that boost, you can use it.
Yep, that's great. Oh, and I like mixing it with E as well. Unimate filled with E. There's also another great booster. Okay, I was bloated and gassy when having full dose of Lifiber. Yeah, sure. So you can adjust to your own suitability. I know there are some people who are more sensitive to fiber. So if that's the case, you get bloated and gassy easily, yeah, you can have just half a spoon instead. Yes, no problem. Okay. All right. Bone Fortify, can I take 1 scoop in the morning with shake instead of twice a day? Of course, recommended. Bone Fortify, I think it's no problem to take 2. That's the best benefit that it can give all of us, right? Because of the vitamin K and things like that. But if, due to your own, if you have any bodily issues with it, or you feel like you want to take 1 scoop, I think that's not really a problem, right? I feel the benefit from taking. Oh, is it better to take Probionic before or after food? It's always good to take Probionic before food because that's when your stomach is empty and your gut is ready. It's more on the ready state. So if you take it, then you will activate, right, your gut. So it's better to take before food. High blood pressure. Okay, first of all, we have to know this person's background. All right, does he have any other medical conditions? First of all, if he only have high blood pressure and the high blood pressure conditions are being monitored by the doctor, then you maybe may suggest him to check with the doctor. I think omega-3 is really good, right? The Resolv one, especially with Resolvins, that's really great. And then Bio C plus. Melatonin. Yeah, melatonin also can help. Melatonin is help more towards calming the brain because one of the things about anxiety is that when it comes to the nighttime, their mind get very active, so they can't sleep. This is very, very common. So yeah, melatonin can help. You have to make you sleep better. Okay, I have to check the specific content of caffeine, right? Let me double check with scientists and I'll get back to you. Chart indicated 3:6:21. Oh, sorry, the ratio should be 6. Yes, 6 and 3. Yeah, 6 and 3. So 20 is 6, 1 is 3. That's the ratio, right? So that's the average consumption. Actually, by right, the ratio should be 4 omega-6 to 1 omega-3. That is the ideal. And the scientists have even adjusted, all right, to suit today's lifestyle, but looks like it's also very difficult to achieve. So we have to take omega-3. We have to take it. I'm vegetarian. What other product I can take? If you're a vegetarian, let me check on the products again, right? I want to make sure that that it's suitable for vegetarian. I'll get back to you on this, right? Great. So Bone Fortify has magnesium, so we cannot mix it with Lifiber, where the psyllium husk will affect the absorption of magnesium. I'm not very sure about this and to what extent it will inhibit. So I guess this one is also a question I have to check again. Okay, I need to check whether it is significant, right? If there is a certain malabsorption, I guess it's not much of a problem. But if it's a lot, then maybe we could separate it. I'll get back to you on this as well. Bone 45. Is bile 7 effective for weight management? Certainly, yes. Okay, because of the fibers and stuff like that, and it would really help to also control glucose and impending cholesterol levels as well. So yeah, I guess it is, but you have to combine bile 7 with good diet, of course. Don't just eat whatever, and exercise. Then definitely you can see results. What is the difference between E and Unimate? I knew there would be this kind of question. Okay, so okay, bile 5 E, it gives you a metabolic boost. All right, it's great if you want to increase metabolism. Some people, they have difficulty in like burning calories and things like that, and they feel very slow. So then yes, E for confirm. But you're talking about mood changes, because I have also personally taken both E and Unimate. If mood and energy and really just emotional stability is E. Oh, sorry, it's Unimate. Yeah.
Okay, I think we'll need to wrap things up. Sorry if we didn't get to everyone's questions. Like I said, if that's a question you really want to get the answer for, just reach out after the call to Claudia Yu at unicity.com or Winda Galante or McKenna.Myler, right? These are our product trainers, and they are there to help you. And the last thing I want to say is this is a topic that is extremely important. I mean, take a moment and think, who are the people that you know in your life that are struggling with stress or anxiety or depression? And you'll be shocked at how many of those people there really are. How many of us that are on this call have struggled with it at times or even constantly? And the fact is, life is getting harder and harder to handle that stress. There's so much going on, and it's harder and harder to take a break, to step away. For some people, it's just not possible. And so that's there are so many different facts that we could share about our products and what they do. But the most important fact of all is that we can help, right? We can help ourselves. We can give ourselves that biological boost to overcome those challenges, and we can help other people too. And it's almost our duty, right, that we reach out to these people that are struggling with things, and we offer our help, right? We're not here to force anyone. It's up to them, but we do want to give everyone the chance to have that amazing boost to give them the life that they want. And so thank you once again for tuning in. Next week, we'll be meeting again at 10 a.m. We'll be hearing from our product trainer from Indonesia, Winda, on how the nutrition we get in our diets is going downhill. It's getting worse. And so what can we do to battle that poor nutrition in our diets and make sure our bodies are getting everything they need to perform the way we want them to? So that will be our topic next week. But thank you very much, Claudia, for the work that you put into this, for sharing about yourself, for your own experience. And yes, thank you so much to everyone. Have a great day, all of you.